Hey everyone, welcome back to another recap podcast from SNXweave, where we give quick weekly recaps of news and important updates from the previous week from the Spartan Council and core contributors, as well as discuss what the Grants Council and ambassadors are up to, so let's get started. The Spartan Council started out last week discussing the STP to deploy Synthetics perps on Solana. Duck voiced support for the plan, but questioned whether the Spartan Council, as approvers of the roadmap, should have been involved in the decision. He praised the transparency and initiative on the part of the Treasury Council, but thought there should have been some alignment between the Spartan Council and the Treasury Council on this particular strategic objective. Kane explained that most of the R&D done at Synthetics to date has begun at the core contributor level, with an initial spark to build out more use cases for the protocol. Synthetics has benefited from the flexibility that a flat organizational structure affords CCs by allowing the space to experiment without a lot of bureaucracy. These plans are very rarely, if ever, fully predetermined at the governance level. Governance simply provides the checks on those processes. For example, if they are financially inefficient or unproductive, the Treasury Council will not fund them. Going forward, the CCs will have to get a budget request approved quarterly, and the Spartan Council has ultimate veto power on any CC initiative as representatives of stakers. Kane also brought up the fact that the Treasury Council has always funded initiatives this way, but now, in response to the community, they're being more transparent about these efforts. Duck still thought, given the $2 million price tag, that some kind of coordination between the two councils would have been preferred. Kane advocated for the Treasury Council to act with full discretion to support the protocol in any way they see fit on behalf of token holders. Specifically on the technical aspects of the STP, Millie asked how the budget was determined for this project. Cav explained that a lot of research and due diligence was done to make sure the teams were available to complete the project at the price detailed in the STP. And Kane added that this is specifically enabled by the redesign of Synthetics v3 and that a similar project using the v2 codebase would have been far more expensive. Next up, there were several SIP and SCCP presentations last week, so let's briefly review them. The first was SIP 369 to remove maximum rewards distributor limits. Presented by Noah, this SIP proposes removing the maximum rewards distributor limits in the rewards manager module, which was originally implemented in SIP 305. Currently, in response to audit feedback, a pool owner may only register a maximum of 10 rewards distributors per pool, and this SIP would remove that check. It's expected that this will be less necessary in an environment where Synthetics is mostly deployed on gas-efficient blockchains. Pool owners will need to take responsibility in not adding so many distributors that it causes them to experience negative gas usage consequences. The next presentation was SIP 2059 for the legacy spot synth migration. This SIP was represented by Caleb. Previously, the SIP specified the use of a rebase mechanism to begin the wind down of all non-SUSD synths. Adam had called out some issues with the proposal related to the curve pools, and the new version outlines use of a redeemer to deprecate spot synths instead. Users would be able to access this feature when they choose, and the price will be the Chainlink Oracle price plus a governance-determined multiplier. Another change from the previous presentation is the inclusion of all low-volume, non-SUSD synths. Previously, it was just SBTC and SETH, because it would make the implementation easier. The primary motivation behind this SIP is to fix the skew. The next three SCCP presentations are prerequisites for SIP 2059. The first is SCCP 2093 to update SETH exchange fees. To unwind the wrappers, the Treasury Council will have to execute a series of transactions. First, they will swap enough SUSD to SETH to unwind the SETH wrapper on L1. Then they will unwrap SETH on L1 by burning the SETH. They will then send the wrapped ETH to L2 to wrap and mint SETH before swapping into SUSD, and the final step is to send the SUSD back to L1 with a 7-day delay. In order to reduce the cost, and since this is an internal transaction, protocol fees will be set to 0 during that time. The next presentation was SCCP 2094 to increase the wrapped ETH wrapper max token amount. In order to accomplish the objectives of SCCP 2093, this SCCP will increase the wrapper capacity on L2 from 2,000 SETH to 6,000 SETH. The last presentation was SCCP 2095 to deprecate V2 legacy loans and wrappers. This SCCP proposes the deprecation of loans and wrappers on the Ethereum network. There are a number of very old, possibly abandoned loans that are very over-collateralized and therefore unable to be liquidated, and they're also costing the users 30% in interest annually. This SCCP would create a module allowing the minimum C ratio to be increased to the point of liquidation. The ETH received from this liquidation would go to the Treasury Council to hold until the users claim the funds. And that's it for today's updates. Be sure to check out our weekly recap blog post, share this podcast link, and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear more about from SNXweave. Thanks for listening.